What's up, everybody? Steven Bogrand here, Pro Physique. Today I want to talk about how much does the number on the scale actually matter? All right. Now, I know that question, the thought, does the number on the scale matter? It's kind of like, of course it matters, right? And yeah, it does matter. But let's talk about the degree to which it matters. Because, and what I see very often is that a lot of people give so much weight, so much clout, so much importance to something as simple as a number on a scale. And really what that number on a scale is just one piece of the puzzle that tells you a little bit of the story, right? It tells you part of the story. And what I want to do is I want to actually highlight one of my clients that I've been working with. And I've been working with him for a little while, reverse dieting. He is eating about 900 calories more a day. The scale is up 2 pounds. And he is leaner. I'm going to go ahead and post a picture of when he started and when he finished with me, his calories and sort of the time frame. Now, Michael was definitely a hyper responder. He responded very well to the reversing process, and not everybody responds as well as he does, or as well as he did. So that is one thing to keep in mind, that he is sort of the end of the spectrum of as good as a reverse diet can possibly go. Now, there were plenty of weeks where we didn't make changes. There were plenty of weeks where he didn't hit his macros on, or something went off, life happened, and we had to stay steady. And that's just part of the process. But overall, his weight stayed the same. So it would be very easy to think, okay, well, if my weight is not moving, I'm not making any progress. But by the pictures, you can see quite blatantly that he made a lot of progress during this time. The way that his body composition changed, you would never know it by looking at the scale only. So that's why things like waist measurement or hip circumference, those sorts of things, and pictures are vital. They're just important to help you tell what's really going on in the grand scheme of things. Because if you only look at weight, you don't see everything. The issue can be compounded by the fact that weight can fluctuate a lot. I know some people whose weight can fluctuate 6, 7, hell, as much as 8 pounds in a day, depending what they do. And that's a lot. What I would consider a normal weight fluctuation is anywhere in between 2 to 3 pounds. And there's a ton of different things that can affect this. I mean, we look at fiber intake. You can hold extra water in the GI tract. Sodium and other salts that cause you to hold more water within your body also. Something as simple as starting to take creatine, right? You've been taking creatine for a little while now. I'm holding extra water weight. Hormonal influences. Ladies, this is a big one for you. Another thing that can affect water weight. So all of these factors can very easily affect the number on the scale. Even just how much water you drank, right? Or if you didn't drink a lot of water, say you're dehydrated and your body's holding on and it's reabsorbing and it's keeping everything. You're training, systemic inflammation from that. All these things can affect the number on the scale. So if we give that number on the scale too much credit, we can be making good progress, but never see it and never realize it. We're just so ingrained, and I find that for females especially, this is true, to look at that number and to judge ourselves and our worth based on what that number on the scale says. And it's bogus. It's just BS. The number on the scale doesn't define you. It doesn't tell you that you're doing it, that you're worth something. It's just a number on a scale. It doesn't tell you whether or not you're beautiful or you're worthwhile. All these things that we associate with that scale, it's none of those things. It's simply an indicator of how much mass we're carrying around. It is one data point, And so when we look at the psychological impact that has on us, right? It's a huge, huge thing. We really have to pay attention to how we allow the scale to affect us psychologically, because what we very often tend to forget is that our mind, right, it releases hormones, it controls our body. So if psychologically we're stressed out, we can have physiological symptoms about it, right? We see this in people with strokes and heart attacks. One indicator of chronic stress is systemic inflammation, hypertension, high blood pressure, right? So if we can reduce stress, sometimes we can actually reduce those symptoms just by changing our perception or the way we think about things, the way we handle our life situations. So we don't want the scale to become one of those things that we allow to stress us out on a consistent basis. One of the things that I think a lot of people don't recognize or realize, especially again for females, because I feel like males, the social expectations of us are very different, right? And so we like to talk about how I should look like He-Man, but the actuality of it is that I don't have to look like any real set standard, right? I think dad bod was a thing not too long ago for us guys. So the expectations for us is quite a bit different than I think the traditional social expectations for women. And we see that with how women look at weight and with how women feel about their bodies and how it affects them. How marketing and media panders to this and sort of reinforces it. So what we want to do is we want to understand that the scale is a number, it's a data point. Fit is in, like healthy is attractive right now. That's what people are. That's what they're trying to sell you. And being fit and healthy doesn't mean always weighing less. I think it's deceptive how much muscle a lot of bikini competitors actually hold on to and actually carry with them because they're lean, they're stage lean, right? And so when we put on muscle, the weight tends to go up. So from a competitor's standpoint, as a bikini athlete, that's an indication of progress, right? So from a competitor's standpoint, as a bikini athlete or as an athlete of any type of physique athlete, that means we're making progress. We're going in the right direction. We're doing the right kind of things. And that's very counterintuitive for how we deal with weight when it comes to being like attractive or beautiful or trying to deal with our own self-worth and body image. So there are so many different reasons to why weight might be going up. There are actually indicators that you are making good progress towards your goals. So next time you step on the scale, don't give it all the power, right? Simply look at it as one piece of the puzzle and then start looking at the other pieces of the puzzle. For a lot of us, it's hard to be objective with ourselves, but don't allow it to stress you out. Know that quite often when the weight is moving up, if you're training hard and you're taking care of all the right aspects, that can be a very good thing. That might mean that you are moving in the right direction instead of the wrong direction. Just because the scale is going down is not always a good thing. We know that with crash dieting, we can lose lean muscle mass, lose a lot of water weight associated with glycogen, and then end up rebounding and regaining the weight, putting us in a worse place than we were initially. So what I really would like is for you to rethink how you look at the scale and your perceptions that are associated with the scale and how it makes you feel. Taking power over that, taking control over your perceptions of the scale, of what it says, and how you allow that to live your life can be very, very important. And it can really just be freeing. So keep that in mind next time you weigh in. Keep making progress. Remember, it's one piece of the puzzle. It doesn't always tell the whole story. And you know, sometimes you can be making progress and that scale doesn't budge, or it goes the other way than what you would be expecting. So keep that in mind, guys. Have a great week. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. I'll talk to you soon.